Hi, I'm Marie Bliston, President of the New Jersey Education Association. The NJEA is committed to celebrating excellence in education. That's why we're so proud to support Teacher Appreciation Week, a special series produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating New Jersey's talented and dedicated teachers.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, University Hospital, Newark, New Jersey, Johnson & Johnson, the law firm of Gibbons, P.C., the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, founded by the Jewish community, Wells Fargo, and by Seton Hall University, where leaders learn. Promotional support provided by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association and by New Jersey Monthly, the magazine of the Garden State, available at newsstands.
This is One-on-One. I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at that.
Life without dance is boring.
I don't care how good you are or how good you think you are, there is always something to learn.
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No.
People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
Such a good question. High five.
Welcome to One-on-One. I'm Steve Adubato. Now, recently, I went to the NJEA Convention in Atlantic City to sit down with Vondalyn Fannin, a technology education teacher at Franklin Elementary School in Trenton, New Jersey, to discuss the importance of exposing students to careers in STEM at a very early age. Here now is that conversation. One of the things I really enjoy, especially enjoy here at the NJEA Convention in Atlantic City, is meeting some of the educators that are featured in a wonderful series called Classroom Close-Up, seen on NJTV, our public television station in the state. Here she is right now. She is Vondalyn Fannin, technology education teacher and chairwoman, Science Committee, Franklin Elementary School in the state capital.
Yes.
Trenton.
Yes.
So we're about to see this Classroom Close-Ups video that is just so powerful in so many ways. When did you know you wanted to go into teaching?
When I was in college, and one of my professors really was a mentor, and we talked about a lot of things, and I shied away from teaching, actually, initially. I wanted to be a lawyer. But I did my first class, actually, in college, and she was very impressed, and she told me that that was my true passion, and I should follow it.
Well, you did the right thing, because what you're about to see, check this out. This is about science fair. What are the ages of the kids?
Well, actually, it's the entire school, kindergarten through 5th grade. Our younger children do their projects with their teachers in class. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th this year did their own individual projects.
This is absolutely, categorically amazing. Check out this video. It tells a powerful story about the work you are doing with your colleagues, but also the impact that it's having on students and their parents, and we'll come back and talk right after this.
What happens to the marine life when the oil is spilled into the ocean? I reflect it into the mirror so it can reflect the light up.
This science fair at Franklin Elementary is not your typical school event.
The entire school is involved in the science fair from kindergarten through 5th grade.
Not only do all students participate, but they also judge each other's work.
We have a Kids' Choice Award for 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade. And all of our boards are numbered so the kids don't know who's who, and they have to vote on their best.
So what you do is put the peroxide in both of them. I did an experiment called hot and cold water. My mom told me with this. My hypothesis is I think the temperature will change because the temperature starts at 0 degrees Fahrenheit, and if you put the thermometer in the cup filled with hot water, the temperature will change.
Making it a process where it's student-driven, I think is the best part about it, because it's not me telling you, you have to do this.
Gummy bear zone. My question was, will these gummy bears dissolve? If so, how?
Actually, water can make a gummy bear grow. I thought that the water will make the gummy bear dissolve, but it made it grow. This is the water. When I put this in the water for 12 hours, this what happened. It turned bigger, but it lost its shape a little.
During the day, all students visit the science fair, and that evening, many parents come to see their child's work.
Can you come sign in?
This is my project on how magnets work. The reason it can stick is because this is made out of iron, and iron is the king of magnetics.
Earth has a magnetic field, and the sun has a 7 times stronger magnetic field.
Too many times we don't know how that things works, and I think this is a good opportunity to learn how things work.
It's a nice way for the parents to connect with school, because it's not necessarily about homework, it's about exploring something that their child is interested in.
My project is oobleck, and when you punch it, it's a solid, and when you put your hand slowly, it's a liquid.
You like your heart.
Wait, me and my dad, we used all these materials, and we tried 4 different motors, and they all didn't work until we found the right one.
We encourage them, their peers are encouraging them. That child that might have been a little reluctant to do a project is now thinking, oh, well, maybe I can do this. I want every child to walk out of here feeling successful.
I got to tell you, when I watch that video, one of the things that strikes me the most is, first, that students are, they're actually giving feedback and judging other students?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
We decided as a committee that the children should have input, and we have actually done this before, but this year it really went over really well. Children are used to using rubrics and judging, and our kids are really competitive, so it was a natural fit. They like having the opportunity to shine, so it's something natural that you do in class anyway, so it just lended over into what we were doing really nicely as an added addition to evaluating, instead of just always the teacher's input.
But the other thing is the parents involved.
Yes,
Talk
very.
about that.
We have a lot of parents that, with the older children in particular, they help them with typing, research, whatever it is. Sometimes the kids do things that are a little bit challenging, and the parents will come to school and ask us for input. So we have a lot of parents every year, bills and bills, with our capacity, with our parents, understanding how they can help our children at home, because they're at home with them. We give them all the materials that they need to get a good start, but the kids have to actually select their topics. And sometimes the topic may be something that the parents are not really sure how to guide them on. So we'll work with the parents so that the kids can be successful.
What do you think this does for many of the young people who are involved in what we just saw? What longer-term impact do you think it is having on them?
The long term is that we really do have children who are interested in the science fields.
So the whole STEM thing, science, technology, engineering, and math, more are going into it?
Yes. Well, I mean, this is not new to Trenton. We used to have an engineering program many years ago.
But this is a different way of approaching it.
Yeah, but it's not new to Trenton. We have a tendency to have programs that come in and out. So I'm glad to see STEM come back to our area and to have the full support as far as funding to really push it through all the grade levels, especially because we have a group of children in our school and many other schools that really have an interest in science and technology and engineering, and we really want them to pursue that.
But what I was really trying to get at is what you've done here, this science fair, if you will. Your idea?
No, it's a collaborative effort as staff members. I worked with a great team of people. We've been doing this for a couple of years now, and it's gotten bigger and bigger. Every year we sit down and we listen and talk about what worked.
Do you tweak it, change it up?
Yeah, every year. So like this year was a tweak when we really brought in the student input, and usually the 5th and the 4th graders were the ones that were evaluating each other's projects, but this year, well, in the tape, you'll see from 2nd through 5th grade, they're actually going around and they're really evaluating each other.
1 to 10. You love your job?
Oh, yeah, it's beyond a 10.
Come on, it's not beyond a 10.
It's beyond a 10. I've been doing this for over 20 years.
So if people say, even the best teachers burn out, you say?
That's
true. You can't be more than 10.
You have your days, but that doesn't mean that I don't love it any less.
Love it.
I love it.
Not like it, love it.
Love it.
I just want to say, you are an extraordinary representative of this extraordinary profession of public school teachers. I want to thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
And I appreciate the opportunity to talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
To watch more One-on-One with Steve Adubato, find us online and follow us on social media.
Pleased to welcome Randy Alexander, Executive Board Member, Philadelphia Music Alliance, and President and CEO, Randex Communications. How you doing, Randy?
I'm doing great, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing great. The Philadelphia Music Alliance, created in June of '86, is?
Philadelphia Music Alliance is basically the umbrella organization for what's known as the Philadelphia Music Walk of Fame, which is on Broad Street, which now has 140 brass plaques laid into the cement on both sides of Broad Street, stretching a couple blocks. Bigger than that, it's really a nonprofit organization, community-based organization that's about two things. One, perpetuating the phenomenal music legacy of Philadelphia, and two, perpetuating the future and nurturing the future of musicians to keep coming out of Philadelphia.
Listen, before we take a look at some of the folks, Nina Simone and others on the Walk of Fame, Philly sound.
Well, the Philly sound is really something that came out of the 70s, and it's really based in, another way of saying it is the sound of Philadelphia, which is something that came through Philadelphia International Records, which was held by Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff, a.k.a. Gamble and Huff, who are Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, who are architects of a special sound.
Is it a big R&B sound?
Huge, huge. And Gamble and Huff have a lot to do with that.
You know what's interesting? When I first started understanding a little bit about Philadelphia and that whole Philly sound, one of our friends over at WBGO, Felix Hernandez, the Rhythm Review on Saturday morning, he's like, yeah, it's the Philly sound. We did a whole show on the Philly sound. I go, what, the what? There's a whole history there, right?
There's a massive history. There's a massive history of not only the Philly sound, but just Philadelphia music in general.
Dick Clark part of that?
Dick Clark is absolutely a part of that.
Make that Dick Clark connection.
Well, you go, you really, if you...
Is it American Bandstand shot in Philadelphia?
American Bandstand started in Philadelphia.
Wow.
It was called Bandstand before it syndicated nationally and became American Bandstand.
So local Bandstand?
46 and Market Streets.
Wow, no.
Yeah, the studio's still there.
Dick Clark right there. He's in the Philadelphia Walk.
He came, we inducted him back in the 80s, and he posed, he came, he was very supportive. He was really supportive of what we did.
By the way, Georgette, do me a favor. Put up some of the shots, and we'll set this up. Nina Simone.
Well, you know, here you got Nina Simone now. Look, we claimed her first, and this year she was just inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Awesome.
You know, it was great. Actually, let me just, an addendum to that, two people at this year's induction in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame were Nina Simone.
John Bon Jovi got inducted. He doesn't have a Philly. That's a Jersey guy. Don't take him.
He has Philadelphia roots, sort of. And Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
Yeah?
Okay.
Pearl Bailey.
Pearl Bailey. I mean, my God. A great showbiz legend for decades and decades. People don't necessarily know she's from Philadelphia. I mean, it's a real education when you come and look at that walk.
Who's up next? Come on.
Dizzy Gillespie. I mean, my God, bebop, jazz. You'd be amazed at the jazz giants that come from Philadelphia.
From Philly?
Dizzy's only one of them. I mean, Dizzy Gillespie, John Coltrane.
Coltrane's from John Coltrane from Philadelphia.
Yeah, West Philadelphia. I mean, his house is a official landmark. Has a plaque.
I'm going to give you another one. Help me on this, team. Who do we? Before we do Chubby Checker, I know his picture's coming up. Didn't we do guy who wrote the book? Is it Bobby Rydell?
Bobby Rydell. I brought him to your show.
That was you.
That was me.
I never know how people get here, but
he was one of the 3 teen idols. The 3 teen idols.
Hold on. Let me give you Frankie Avalon.
Go ahead.
Bobby Rydell.
Right.
And hold on.
I'm holding.
Who is it?
Fabian.
Fabian! Oh, I don't remember Fabian. I don't know.
Well, they were the bandstand guys. I mean, they were the guys that came out when Elvis went into the Army. There was sort of like an interim between, they bridged the gap between Elvis and the Beatles.
Wow.
And they all came from South Philly in a certain, like, very small radius. They all knew each other. They all grew up with each other.
A lot of Italian names that changed.
I'm
not going there, but I know that.
Hey, you know. You know.
Oh, okay. So who'd you have, Georgette? Chubby Checker.
Chubby Checker, the twist. Now he's right. You know, he comes right through the bandstand thing. He was a contemporary, or is a contemporary of Bobby and Fabian and Frankie and all them. Another South Philly guy. You know, he was a chicken plucker. If you read in the Italian market, if you go back and read the history books.
I'm gonna give you another one. I'm gonna switch gears dramatically.
Go ahead.
One of my all-time favorites, only because of Teddy Pendergrass, the great Teddy Pendergrass. Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes with that voice from Teddy Pendergrass. You got a shot? Oh, there's Teddy Pendergrass, right? The second one. Look at that shot right there. Second over from the right.
I'll give you the quick story on him.
Don't give the story on the end.
No. The beginning.
That's Teddy Pendergrass.
Okay, so Teddy Pendergrass, I don't know if you know, he was the drummer.
No, he wasn't. He was the singer.
He was a drummer first. Leon Huff of Gamble and Huff noticed him and heard him singing in a club and brought him out front, said he'd be great out front. And they had, by the time he had hit his peak, what Kenny Gamble likes to say is he was like the Black Elvis, they called him.
He was, let's just say back in the day, a very romantic singer. He's the one that, never mind.
Well, they like to say a lot of babies were born to Teddy
Let's leave that alone.
music.
Patti LaBelle.
Patti LaBelle.
Got the shot of Patti LaBelle?
Oh, my God.
Tell me what makes her special.
Patti LaBelle.
Because she's Patti LaBelle.
What do you say? I mean, she's one of the grand divas in contemporary pop and R&B for now 50, 60 years. Okay, going back to Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells in the early 60s.
Right.
Okay, she was inducted into our walk. She's a power. She's a force. She was inducted as a solo artist into the walk 20-some years ago.
Right.
This past year, we said, you know what? She had a group also in the 70s called La Belle. You know, with Lady Marmalade was their huge anthem. So we inducted Patty's group, which was Patty, Nona Hendrix, and Sarah Dash, who have been with her for over 50 years.
Amazing. The last two out of the R&B genre is Joan Jett first. Joan Jett and the
Blackhearts.
There it is. She's right there. I mean, that's talent.
Joan Jett was born in Philadelphia, spent her first couple years in Philadelphia, then went to Baltimore. But she has roots in Philadelphia, and that's really important, either have had roots or to have spent a significant time here, especially if it was part of your career.
Let me do this. Todd, you got Todd Rundgren? A lot of people don't appreciate this guy.
Todd Rundgren.
What was his favorite? What was his great song?
Oh, Hello, It's Me.
Hello, It's Me.
All right, the Naz was his earlier group.
He's from Philly.
He's from Upper Darby, which is also where Tina Fey is from, by the way.
Really? Because I know he's not from South Philly.
And it's where the legendary Tower Theater is.
Look at you.
Okay.
You are a walking historian.
I've walked the streets a few years.
That's good stuff. Listen, check this out,
There's
folks.
great stuff coming from the
Randy
streets.
Alexander, Executive Board Member, Philadelphia Music Alliance, and President and CEO of Randex Communications. Good to see you, my friend.
Steve, always a pleasure.
Well done.
Absolutely.
Check us out after this. That was awesome.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
That's some wild stuff. That's from Bedlam. Yes. This is Edmund Lewis, actor with Bedlam. Bedlam is a theater company.
That's correct.
Based where?
Yeah, here in New York. It was founded in 2012 by Eric Tucker, who is our artistic director. He's also an actor in the company and the director of all the productions, and Andrus Nichols, who's an actor. And our first production was George Bernshaw's St. Joan, done with 4 actors playing 24 characters.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That put us on the map.
How's that work?
Wow, I have to give credit to Eric Tucker, our director. He really had an amazing vision. He had actually done the show with 3 actors in L.A. a couple of years previous to that.
Playing more roles.
1 woman and the 2 men played all the men.
Oh.
Yeah, and so this production, he said, I'll make it a little easier. I'll add 1 more actor. So it was 3 men and 1 woman, Andrus Nichols, who's amazing, and another guy named Tom O'Keefe, who was the other actor in the show. And it was basically, about stripped down storytelling and just telling the story as well as we could and with as much immediacy as we could, and having the audience very close in, and everyone kind of moves around in the show. The audience, you begin the show kind of looking at the stage as you normally would a normal play. And then after that, people go, initially in our first production, people went to the lobby to have, for intermission, and we actually walk in our costumes for the next scene and told people to just kind of relax. We're going to do a scene here, and then we
Get out of here.
Yeah, yeah.
You did the scene where people were having a beer?
Yes, and yes, because basically the first part of the play took place in France, and to transmit the idea that now we're in England, he was like, we're literally in another place, and people just loved it. It was just something they'd never seen before.
Simple but ingenious.
Yeah, and then we brought them back into the theater, and that it had been transformed during the previous scene into the cathedral, and it was a different place, and it was, you know.
You know, it's fascinating to me is theater. I mean, Georgette, our producer who brought you in.
That's great.
I mean, she's introduced us to so many people who are connected to Broadway.
Right.
Right, so many great actors. And,
sure.
After we had the young man from SpongeBob, I went to see SpongeBob, which was great.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking elaborate. Yeah. What's his name again? Ethan Slater. Sorry,
correct.
That kid's good.
Yeah.
Here's my point. That wasn't cheap.
No.
I'm watching it going, this is big. There's all kinds of scene changes and all kinds of, you know, special
there was some
effects.
money. Yeah,
some money. So
money.
You guys different?
Very much so. You know, it's expensive to produce theater, and we want to do so. But you know, we don't have huge amounts of money. We don't have Broadway money. So
do you need big money to put on great theater? Do you need big money to put on great theater?
Do we need big money to put on great theater? No. I mean, we not only ourselves, but.
So hold on 1 second. Mm-hmm. Did you guys just put on the boat? That's a boat from Peter Pan?
that's a pool, a kiddie pool, correct.
Okay, you're answering my question.
Yeah.
But go ahead. But you used it, it's supposed to be a boat?
No. It's a kiddie pool on stage.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
In Peter Pan?
That's correct.
Okay, so you can be real creative without spending a lot of money.
Very much so. Yeah, and that's how the group has been since the beginning. I mean, there have been a couple of shows where they might be more costumed than the last shows, but even in that respect, it's the simplest costumes, not much of a set. Tables, some chairs, some hats, some glasses. And just knowing how to tell the story well and in a way that's new and exciting and people respond to it.
What's 12th Night and the climax, if you will, of the play?
Oh, yes. Well, in 12th Night, we had 5 actors, and we were, again, playing multiple roles. And in the early part of the play, we were lucky in that, you know, if we were playing a couple of different characters, they appeared in different scenes, so it was a little easier. But at the climax of the play, there we go. Yes. At the climax of the play, almost all of the characters appear on stage at the same time. So we had to figure out how are we gonna do this, and it just ends up being a free-for-all. Like we acknowledge the fact that, okay, we're 6 actors playing 17 different people, so we know this, and so why don't we just have fun with this? And we're all kind of in a circle formation on stage, and we start kind of throwing hats at each other and glasses at each other, and we turn into characters, and we all play every character in the show in this one segment, and it was really fun. It was great. It was amazing. Am I spoiled? I'm very spoiled in Bedlam.
I don't mean that in a bad way.
No. It's not at all. Very much so, because I get to work with people that I'm extremely fond of and do really good work for a really amazing company that put itself on the map very quickly. It's only been about 5 years or so. Wow. And it's lovely to work with these people.
Before I let you out of here, you're from Massachusetts.
That's correct, yeah.
I'm sorry for asking this thing to every great actor who comes in. When did you know?
Oh, I think it was quite young. I wanted to be a singer first. I was in 3rd grade when I did my first play. And
all right, what was it?
It was an elementary school. It was a bunch of different
What was the
scenes.
play? What's the name of it? Did it have a name?
No. It wasn't actually a play.
Oh, look at you. You can't even do a regular play. It's even got to be Bedlam back then.
No. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a bunch of scenes and music from various Broadway plays, but I remember it was Oliver, and I did Consider Yourself at Home with all the other orphans, and I really knew how to welcome Oliver in. much more so than a lot of the other kids.
What did
They
it
were
feel
like,
like?
that kid.
What did it feel like on stage? Third grade. Got 30 seconds left. Go ahead.
It was just exciting. I was like, oh, I can do this. I just kind of intuitively was like, oh, this is fun, and I know how to do this, and it makes me feel good. And
now you're at Bedlam. Tell everyone again where it is.
Well, Bedlam, actually, we just closed our last show, but we will be doing we'll be doing a pairing of Romeo and Juliet and Uncle Vanya. This
Where's it located?
Coming fall. I
Throughout New York. Oh, you don't have your own space. You're all over the place.
Yes, we're all over. We don't have a space
See what
yet.
I mean?
We're,
Nothing
different.
conventional.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great stuff. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Catch you next time, folks.
Thank you.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, University Hospital, Johnson & Johnson, the law firm of Gibbons, P.C., the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, Wells Fargo, and by Seton Hall University. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
Stigma surrounding mental illness can lead to discrimination, and this happens too often with veterans. It could limit their opportunities like pursuing careers outside of the military. But having PTSD doesn't make a veteran any less capable of succeeding in the workplace. The more we understand mental illness, the easier it is for veterans to address their mental health concerns and begin to cope. Understanding that a person is not their disability is the first step to stopping stigmas surrounding veterans.